everyone, this is Angela, and you're listening to Homeschool Unrefined, the podcast where we keep homeschool simple, real, and fun.
And this is Maren. You've got episode 133, How We Homeschool Through a Pandemic, Part 4. And we are going to get to all of that in just a few minutes. But first, we just want to say hi. Thank you so much for showing up. We're so glad you're here. And we also want to give a shout out to our new patron, DW. Thanks so much, DW, for supporting us and joining us on Patreon. Also, this episode is brought to you by our $5 squad on Patreon. Patrons make our work possible, and patrons get more. 2 extra episodes every month, extended interviews, and they're always the first to know about all of our news and announcements. Join us now at patreon.com/homeschoolunrefined.
Yeah, we are so glad to be back. We are on part 4 of our pandemic series. We'll just call it that.
Do we know how many parts we're going to have?
No, we have no idea. I don't think anybody knows.
Nope.
We're not planning that far ahead. We're planning week to week.
Right.
So we are recording weekly through this. So we're glad to have you along for that ride. And we are just, like we've done in the last episodes, talking about how it's going for us and our family, which we are calling State of the Family. And then we are talking about the nitty gritty and what we are actually doing homeschooling. Because, you know, one thing we've learned in doing this podcast for 3.5 years is people want to know what you're actually doing.
It's true.
They do. They want to know, but what are you doing actually? So we will tell you in the nitty gritty.
Yep.
And then we will come back for our LTWs at the end.
Exactly. All right.
Yes. So, Maren,
right
why don't you start telling us about how it's going for you and your family?
Okay. Well, I have to say, I feel like we're kind of moving into, and maybe I've said this last week, so maybe I'm still in this transition from going from like a sprint into a marathon. So like, you know, a runner does that by like, they change their heart rate a little and they kind of slow down, and you know, this happens. This is like a real physical thing that happens with marathon runners. And I feel like this is what's happening with us right now. And it's this transition period. And I feel like we're still in it. I do feel, but I feel like we're kind of moving our way out and into this like new rhythm of life.
Yeah.
So it feels kind of okay right now to me. You know, still there's always bumps and everything, but I also feel like I have kids who would love to just have always wanted to just be home all the time and not, you know, have to get in the car and go somewhere with the whole, you know, with all the kids, and then, you know, everybody's incubated into this car and there's intense issues, and you know, all those transitions of going places is hard for some of my kids. And so this has actually taken quite, you know, a strain off of their shoulders for sure.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, and especially with traveling, we've been traveling since August. We've had transition after transition after transition. It's been nonstop really. And so I feel like this was just our, you know, it was just a huge stopping point, and not the one that we planned on, but it was definitely welcomed by some of our kids.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. So anyway, but also within that, I feel like for some of us, like we need variety. We all need variety, but like some of us more than others. And so I often feel like we need to shake things up, but I also am trying to remember that some of my kids have, you know, we've shaken things up a lot. And so it's okay that we're not shaking things up again today.
Yeah.
Or tomorrow or the next day or next week. That's okay.
Right. I mean, the outside world is shaken up too.
It is.
So it's kind of nice to not have more shakeups.
Yep.
Inside
for sure
in your family.
For sure. Yeah. And so my tendency is to think, well, we need more variety. We need, you know, more excitement and things like that. And so I'm really, you know, trying to not let that take control of just like the natural wave of our family right now, where we're at just naturally. So yeah. So
Yeah.
I loved, have you heard me talk about Glennon Doyle much lately? I love
A little bit.
I've been watching her morning meetings or
Yes.
family meetings. Have you been watching those? Sometimes
I've watched some.
Yeah. So
I'm not a fanatic like you.
yeah,
but
well,
I
I wouldn't even say I'm a fanatic, but I have really really appreciated those daily like kind of encouragement affirmations or whatever. But like, she's talked about like this. It's okay to just let go of your expectations, and screens, and just I don't know. I just have felt very free listening to her, especially the other day. I know Julie Bogart posted about how she gave herself a mental health day. And she's like, you can do that for your kids. And I feel like those kind of messages are so needed right now. And so I want to I want to be that message too, for sure, which means I need to do that myself.
It starts with you.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Exactly. So I was thinking I would like to do a mental health day for everyone.
Yeah, me too.
So anyway, another thing is that 2 of my kids are doing online schooling. One's in a co-op that does online classes, and one is in public school doing online classes. And there's a dichotomy for sure about how I feel about this. I mean, there's like this major frustration with just starting it all and figuring everything out. There are so many usernames and passwords that it's like mind blowing how many things we have to remember. And we even have LastPass where it keeps all of our stuff. It keeps all of our information, but it's still a big mess. It kind of feels like so. And also like with the Zoom calls, the scheduling and all the numbers with that keep changing every time they change a meeting. The numbers change. So I feel like those kind of details have really bogged me down.
Yes.
That to say, though, I have to say, there's something about this online learning that I'm kind of digging. It's this, I love it. It feels almost like a hybrid of homeschooling and then like kind of outsourcing a few things. And I don't know. I'm kind of liking how it's working for those 2, especially because they both really like this even social aspect of online. There's this social aspect that's happening. And also being accountable to someone outside the house feels better for them. And so I don't know, I'm learning a lot right now about how they're learning and how we as a family can like still homeschool and do maybe some other things, I don't know, in the future. I don't know, to make it work for everybody even better.
Right. It's good to pay attention to all of that.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, this is a good experience.
Yeah.
I mean, there's good that's coming out of this. It's not all a good experience.
Right. Well, we can make it. Yeah, we can make it like into whatever. But, so anyway, and I'm also appreciating that the 2 that are doing the online learning are pretty much independent learners. They're very motivated to get their work done for their teachers.
Yeah.
And I really don't have to be there for them at all.
Yeah.
I've helped with a few things, but that is like it. So I'm loving that. And then the other 2 are really, really loving not being accountable to other people besides mom. That's kind of their personality and how it's working for them right now, their learning styles. And oh my gosh, yeah. In the Nitty Gritty, I'll tell you like a little bit about the things we're doing together, but we're finding things. This is the 4th week of staying at home, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or 5th.
Or 5th.
I think it might be.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
I think we might be finishing
what
the 4th.
Happened? Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So I feel like even just now I'm figuring out what's working for these 2, the 2 that we're full-time homeschooling. So, and also I am definitely giving myself lots of breaks, giving my kids lots of breaks.
Yeah.
We're doing lots of like outdoor time and things like that too. because it changes the flow a little bit, and I don't know, just to change the to add endorphins and things like that. I just feel like that kind of stuff is so good for my kids, just to get outdoors, even just for if it's 10 or 20 minutes or whatever. But
Yes.
yeah, so that's where we're
I don't
at
think
right
you
now.
need to convince any of us of that.
I
I mean,
know.
it's our one chance to get actually outside of the house, so we have to do it.
I know, right? It's so true. So true. But I do think that it's easy to, like we talked about in the past episodes, like it's easy to, easy things can be hard, and hard things can feel even harder right now. And so like what might have felt easy to go outside or do things might feel like it's just like too hard for me right now. It's just,
Yep.
or, and that's okay too. I think it's okay to give yourself a break there.
Yeah, I'm trying to pay attention to what my body is telling me. And today was the first day. It's cold here. It was nice and warm and sunny, and now it's cold and windy and snowy.
Oh my gosh.
And
Ugh.
like super windy. And I just was like, I cannot go outside. And I mean, maybe I will later, but at our normal time, I didn't feel like it. And I told the kids, I don't feel like it. And they were like, oh, good. Can we stay in? And
Yeah.
and I just thought, okay, maybe that's okay just for today. Or, it's okay to have that cozy inside feeling a little bit.
Absolutely.
When it's so windy out. It's okay for a day.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So
for
I'm
sure.
trying to pay attention to those things.
And there are lots of physical things kids can do inside. We can all do inside.
Yes.
And that's
Yes,
okay.
there
Like
are.
take advantage of those things. Take advantage of that yoga app or,
Yeah.
the online, your martial arts online.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
for sure.
Like all that kind of stuff. Just, that's what that's for.
Right. And we are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good. All right. So how about you? What's the state of your family?
Well, okay. First of all, I just have to say I had a big vulnerability hangover from last week.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I feel like I need to say that, but I feel like, and I feel like this with every episode. It wasn't just last week. Every episode. In
Yeah.
fact, I texted you like, I don't know what day, the day before it came out. And I
Yeah.
was like, are we sure we should put that out? I was really,
Yeah, I know.
really
I
shared
and
a lot-
I felt the same way. I mean, I feel that every week afterwards.
yeah.
I think, why did I even say that? How could I?
I mean, it feels so personal to talk about this stuff. And so I just feel like I want everybody to know that, that I'm really just sharing from the heart. So, and this is a emotional time
Yeah,
for
it
everybody.
is. It
So it just feels extra heavy. So
Sure.
anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to say this week is much better than last week. Last week was and I don't think I said this on Thursday. We recorded last Thursday. So at that point, I hadn't determined it my worst parenting week ever yet. But last week was my worst parenting week ever in my life.
Yeah. We don't name our eras until they're over. So it's good. At least maybe we know it's over.
Oh, wow. Jeremy was out of town, and it was just really hard.
Yeah.
It was really, 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 really hard. This week is much better. So I just feel like a weight lifted off of my shoulders because he's back.
Yeah.
I told you all last week that we were going to quarantine him. We decided not to. I decided not to.
Yeah.
Because like right before he was supposed to fly home, I was like, I need him as a parent.
Yeah.
I need him as a parent more than I need to quarantine him.
Yes.
And as soon as he walked in the door, I just felt like, honestly, like a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. It's hard enough to single parent with a spouse traveling.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
But in a pandemic, it's just
unnerving.
anxiety is high. We can't leave the house. And it was just extra hard.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I feel great this week.
Good.
I don't know if I can say great, actually. I feel a lot better this week. But, he's going to be gone again next week.
Yeah.
So I will be real curious. I'm just trying to pay attention to how things go. Like,
Right.
am I feeling better this week because he's back? Or is it kind of like you said, we're settling in for the long haul, and I've kind of, the initial sprint has subsided more into a marathon. Is that what's happening?
Maybe.
I'll be curious about how that goes for us next week, but
Sure. Well, and the other thing is, I think just not knowing, or maybe knowing or planning that you were going to have Jeremy quarantine felt very uneasy to you. So all week you were probably like, how is this going to work? And not knowing. And I mean, I can imagine. I can't really imagine. I mean, I think that'd be so tough. So, and then, so maybe just the change in decision was helpful. And so maybe this next week when he's gone, it will be just easier on your mind.
Maybe. I mean, I did one thing that kind of changed my decision too was like, just kind of the realization we're in this for the long haul now.
Yeah.
Like, is this going to go all summer? Is he going to be quarantined all summer? Is that what we're going to do? Or, like it wasn't just a couple more weeks kind of thing.
I know.
It feels like this is going to be longer now. And so I was starting to think more long term.
Like, is this realistic to do this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Quarantining.
Yeah. And I'm trying to make decisions for everybody's mental and physical health for the long haul.
Yeah.
For the long haul now.
For sure.
I'm still, one thing that's changed for me, and I talked about this last week, but it's much stronger feeling this week, is I am not taking any news or stats anymore about the coronavirus. I realized, my mind and body just cannot handle this. And I was feeling guilty about that because I do care so much about like people.
I know.
I care so much about people.
You care
and what's
so
happening.
much. So which is
so
why it's hard.
I feel bad for not wanting to hear stories because I do actually want to hear stories. Yeah. But my brother told me, now is just probably not the time for that. Yeah. And I realized that was really wise. Like, I can learn about that stuff or hear those stories later, but like right now we're in the highest anxiety period of this. And so just piling that on feels like it's, adding gas to a fire kind of.
Sure.
And so I don't want to do that. And it kind of, I was like likening it to, I'm a nervous flyer. I don't like to fly. And it would be like I'm up in a plane and it's turbulent and I'm reading about plane crashes.
Yeah.
Like that's not the time for that. Or to hear stories about lovely people who died in a plane crash. That is not the time to be hearing about that.
Right.
And so I'm giving myself a break on that. And
good for you.
Just going to wait till later.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's great. I think that's really wise. I'm glad you're saying this out loud because I'm sure I know other people are feeling the same way. Yeah. And aren't giving themselves a break. And I think that's great that you are.
Yeah. Thank you.
Saying it's okay to do that.
It's okay to not listen if that's not helping you now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I was saying, did you see I was posting yesterday about how I like to watch things like The Daily Show with Trevor Noah because I feel like I get some information and yet I don't know, he's funny. It's not making fun of the coronavirus or any other issue, but I just feel like the way he talks is just, it makes me feel like I can take in this information. That's just me. That's how I work, probably. Yeah. Definitely more than you, for sure. So, like, that's where I'm like, I could take that news in.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. All right. And then I just wanted to touch a little bit on self-care.
Good.
My self-care has changed like everyone else's. Yeah. Because, everything has changed. So, I'm trying really hard to find time for this, although it's a challenge. So I have backed way back to lowered my expectations for self-care. I'm doing 10 minutes in the morning of like yoga / meditation. So I'm trying to for sure get that in. And then I am trying, we talked last week about, I think I told everybody to hold me accountable. I am mostly doing an hour in the afternoon while my kids are doing screens or their own thing. I am trying to be real intentional about either a walk on my own, a nap, or like watching something. And I'm trying to just ask myself what I need in that moment and then do that. So sometimes it's a walk, sometimes it's a nap, sometimes it's TV.
That's great.
And I'm mostly able to do that.
That's so
I'm
great.
going to keep working at that.
I love that.
But definitely I'm using screens more liberally to help with this. And I'm
So
trying
good.
not to feel guilty
Yep,
about that.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. How is your self-care going?
I'm feeling, well, I should say I'm kind of doing the same thing where my expectations of like screen time is changing because of my very intense need to take self-care seriously right now. So I almost feel like this is like we're in the ICU of self-care. We all need to be very, like taking care of ourselves. This is for me. I need to be taking very good care of myself. If I am not doing the things that I know I need every day to really be healthy and happy, then it's just the days that I haven't done that, it's just been a mess of a day, like just terrible. And it's not because of anybody else except for myself that I haven't done these things. So, and for me, that includes like, I really, really like to get out in the morning for at least an hour of, hiking, walking, biking, running, something physical. And that means, number one, I'm allowing the kids who are awake, I'm allowing to have screens. And number two, the kids who aren't awake, they get to sleep because and that might not have normally happened. Like if that weren't my priority, I'd be like, well, we all need to wake up. So we're not up until 11 p.m. But I would rather give up that, the early bedtime so that I can have this time in the morning. And that's going to be different for everyone. Maybe your self-care is everybody goes to bed early.
Yeah, right.
So, we all need to do whatever we need to do here. So, I am letting my kids sleep and have more screens in the morning so that I have this time to myself. And
yes,
I am listening to audiobooks, podcasts, those kind of things, and music. And it helps me feel like I can start my day. And even then, when I come home, I am like, well, I want to listen a little more to my podcast. And so I try not to even rush everybody into the next thing. I'm trying to like just let this be a natural thing. Like, okay, now I feel like I'm ready. Now we can move on. And does everybody else feel like they're ready? I want to make it more of, more natural transitions than me just like forcing things. And that's part of my self-care right now. And then also, I also feel like I need time. I also need time to like kind of just chill out in the afternoons. So we're also doing that. I need to just decompress from, the last 3 or 4 hours of whatever we were doing together. And I do feel like, and I know you can all relate to this. I feel like, when it looks easy for a mom, for a parent, it's because of all the hard work happening underneath to make it look like that. So sometimes I feel like, well, I kind of felt like an easy morning, but or whatever. So maybe I don't need to give myself this time. But actually that's because of like the hard work and planning I've done to make it look or seem like it was easy.
Yeah, definitely. It's the preparation beforehand that you did to make that happen.
The overthinking and all that. Yes, exactly. So I'm allowing myself either in the afternoon, either rest or, I don't know, doing something just by myself. Sometimes I rest. Sometimes I go out again by myself and just walk or whatever, because, I can think better sometimes when I'm listening to something. So I can think better when I'm moving or doing something, but I don't want it to be cleaning the kitchen or folding clothes. I just don't. That's not where I recharge. So, So, and then also I'm doing things like in the evening after dinner. I've just made this announcement to everybody. Just made an announcement one night. Kids, you're going to go help Dad clean the kitchen. And then I just like left. Yeah. So that the expectation for everyone in the family is that they are cleaning the kitchen, including like my husband, because I think, what happens if it's not clear, then it's not, like he might not just put that on himself. Yeah. I mean, he would help for sure, but it wouldn't be like his main job, right? But if I'm like, like, Sean, you're in charge of like cleaning the kitchen with the kids right now. He's like, okay, great. Like he's so willing to do it. It's just that if it's not if it's not up, if he's not in charge of it, then it's not like probably going to be like his main focus right then.
Right.
So,
Okay.
and then I leave, and then I have to leave. Sometimes I just have to leave. And the same as like bedtime. I feel like that's all really self-care for me.
Yeah.
Is like at bedtime, if there are other issues happening and I feel like I am done, I just have to leave sometimes and say, I need you to handle this.
Yeah.
To my husband. So
good.
Having
Good
those,
for you for recognizing
healthy
that.
boundaries. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, healthy boundaries.
Yep,
That's
for
good.
sure. Mm-hmm.
All right, let's talk about the nitty gritty.
Yes. Okay.
And what we are actually doing.
What are you actually doing, Angela?
All right. I feel like we've said, I feel like we're moving into a more, we found a rhythm. I feel like we found a rhythm.
Awesome.
Now, this might change next week.
And that's okay. It's okay.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
But I feel like we've kind of settled in to, this is our new normal.
Yeah.
This is the new normal now, and this is how we do it now. So, and I've talked about this a little bit before, so not much has changed for us in this way. We are doing work time in the morning. We are doing deer time and then a walk right after lunch. And then afternoon is for more outside if it's nice, doing something creative, finishing work. Some people have to finish work, screen time. And then we have dinner, and just like you, I am excusing myself from all dinner cleanup because the reality is I'm making all the dinners right now, and that's not always the way it goes.
Yeah.
But I feel the need to because I'm managing the food.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And so I just feel like it's easier for me to just make dinner because I know what we have and I know what we need to use up and stuff. So because I'm doing all of that, I am excusing myself from all the cleanup.
Yeah.
And then we do something called, again, I have no good name, bedtime books and TV.
Oh, yes. I'm loving that. I think that's so great.
Where we read aloud. We just gather in my bed and I read aloud a teeny bit. I'm talking 5 to 10 minutes. And then we watch a show that everybody's into.
That's so great.
So that part has not really changed much, but what has changed, I have a couple other things that that have changed. I thought it was important that we give ourselves something to look forward to daily, not like we need something huge and new and exciting, but just something like, and I got this idea because Wednesdays we like to watch Survivor. And so everybody was all excited for Wednesdays. I mean, it was like the one day we would look forward to.
Yeah.
And I thought, what if we could have something every day? Like Wednesdays is Survivor. Okay, like what other days could we do things?
Sure.
And so I started filling stuff in. And I don't have this perfected or anything, but Tuesdays I'm making pancakes for breakfast. This is big because I don't really want to make breakfast. So, but I know everybody likes to have pancakes.
Sure.
And I thought, okay, I could do that. So Tuesdays I'm making pancakes. Thursdays we are going to get drive-through coffee.
Love it. That's a great
which
idea.
My kids are all excited about. I am not. I don't drink coffee. So this is like a treat for them.
Totally.
And then Fridays we are doing takeout for dinner.
That's
so I'm
great.
trying to think of something for Mondays that would be exciting. Like I mean, we can brainstorm that another time,
That's
but
so
I feel
great.
like something like a TV show or food is definitely exciting, but I don't want to make more work for myself.
I know.
And I don't know. So, and if I said games, we could do games, and we thought about that. We might do a game, but sometimes where am I going to fit that in? I just want to, sometimes it might cut into my one time that I get to rest or something. And so I don't want to do that.
Nope, don't do that.
So I don't know. I have to think about it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I put that on our whiteboard, and then everybody can kind of get excited about each day. Like, oh yeah, today is whatever.
That is so great. Yeah. Wonderful. I love that.
Yeah. So that changed. And then I just wanted to talk a little bit about the academics that we are doing.
Yep.
For each of my kids
Great.
in the morning. Because I feel like people want to know.
Absolutely. We all want to know. I want to know.
Because I know that some of us are doing less right now, and that's okay. Some of us are maybe doing more because you feel like you have so much time.
Yeah.
And so that's okay too.
Yeah.
And so I just think whatever you're doing right now to get through this is fine.
Yep.
And I just wanted to share a little bit for us. We are doing, so first of all, my 15-year-old is doing online school for her school, and she's doing a lot. That takes her like most of the day, which I just hate, but she's okay. She's independent. She's doing it, but it does use up our computer. So
right.
That part is not great, but she's doing well. Yeah. And then the other things we are doing is we're doing a little bit of math for everybody, my other two. And I'm talking a tiny bit. Like I'm talking 10 minutes.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
I love that.
My 13-year-old is doing Beast Academy, and she's doing one lesson a day. And these take about 10 minutes.
Really? I didn't know. I thought Beast Academy was more than that. That's good to know.
They're like 5 to 10 questions.
Okay.
On a topic.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
So that's good. My son is doing like one worksheet, a one math worksheet with about 10 problems. So I do sit with both of them when they do those so that we can work stuff out, but it takes about 10 minutes.
Yep.
My 13-year-old is doing a Brave Writer class, and those are like 1 to 2 assignments a week.
Okay.
So it's not every day that we're working on it. We're working on it once or twice.
Sure.
It probably takes 15 to 30 minutes.
Okay.
Maybe on those 1 to 2 days. My 13-year-old is watching CNN 10. And that's 10 minutes. And then she's also listening to Stamped. By Ibram X. Kendi and Jason Reynolds. It is an audio. Well, it's actually, you can get it on audio or you can read it. Yep. It's a youth version of Stamped from the Beginning. It's a history of race in the United States. And so we're doing that for history. She's listening to 10 minutes a day of that on audio, just when she can.
Awesome.
My 11-year-old is doing Logic of English. Which is a spelling / not writing, spelling and
language arts. It's
language arts, words.
Yep. Phonics
curriculum,
grammar. Right.
Yes. He's doing that, and we are doing 10 minutes a day, maybe. And I've done Logic of English for many years, and we've experimented with like doing it once a week, but for a half an hour or whatever. And I think I've kind of, what's working for us right now is like 10 minutes a day.
That's great.
Like a teeny bit.
Yeah.
So we're doing that. And then both of my kids are doing typing. They are doing maybe 5 minutes a day. It's just like one lesson on typing.com.
Yeah.
And then I am doing reading aloud individually to each of my kids.
Great.
One short chapter. I would say if we compress this down, the academics, it's maybe an hour a day for my 11-year-old. And my 13-year-old, it might be a little bit more, like an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's broken up between other stuff, like making breakfast and doing like some sort of exercise video or going outside or whatever.
Right.
But if you compress it down, it's not that much academics, I would say. Maybe an hour.
Okay. Awesome.
So, yeah.
So great. Do you think that this is about the same, less, or more than what you are normally doing pre-pandemic?
I think it's about the same.
Okay.
And I was, in the first couple weeks of this, we were doing less.
Yeah.
I feel like we were just trying to get our footing and figure this out.
Right.
And we were doing way less.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay too. I think whatever you are doing is fine. If you do no academics for the rest of the year, it's going to be okay.
Yes, absolutely.
It's going to be okay. So I think whatever you are doing to get through this, I think is what you have to do. I think for us, we need some sort of routine.
Yeah.
And my kids need a purpose. They need like things to check off.
Yes.
And that's just the way my kids work.
Right.
I sometimes wish my kids were okay with a little bit less structure. But I feel like for our family, we just need we need a little bit more structure, and that's probably me too.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. Well, there is definitely a balance of structure here, because often I think I wish my kids wanted more structure, and they just like can't do it. But also, if we went the other way and had no structure, it would have fallen apart too. So like there's this small little window of the right amount of structure for your family, and it's good to just know what that is, wherever that is on the scale of structure.
That's true. Yes. Okay. So Maren, tell us the nitty gritty for your family.
Okay. So I actually was kind of feeling like I need variety, right? I need variety. I don't want to do the same things every day again, because I get bored with it. My kids are getting bored with it. We love Mo Willems, but can't do it every day. Yeah. We just can't anymore. And all the things we have been doing have been like that. So I came up with this calendar. I'm going to show it to you right now. I'll maybe take a picture of it. Can you see that?
It's on a piece of paper. And I just put Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday over across the top. And I just wrote down some things that we could do each day so that it would feel different. Oh, good.
And so, the things we need to do every day, not that we need it. There's nothing we need to do every day. But the things that I thought I want to do every day, I even want to like kind of make it feel like we're not doing the same thing every day. So like for math, we are still doing Dreambox. But also like I'm just telling the kids, I want you to do 5 lessons a week whenever. Instead of everybody needs to do math at this time in this place or whatever, we have to be whatever. So, and then we're also just doing some math, games. And a lot of that is just adding up cards, putting 2 cards down and adding them up. Or I pulled out did I tell you this last week? Maybe I did. Maybe I talked about this, but the wrap ups, pulled those out. Oh yeah. And just things like that, I kind of forgot about. I'm pulling them out. And this is because, why not? I don't know. I just think because we get so busy. I get so busy with so many things normally that I forget about the things I already have right here. Definitely. And so this I feel like has been kind of an opportunity for me to pull up the things that I've already worked on. I've already planned this out. Like, let's use those things. So yeah. So, and same with read aloud. Read aloud, I really thought we would do every day. But some days it's just not working, and that is just okay. It's going to be okay. Sometimes we do read aloud if it feels okay for everyone, or for at least most people. Or sometimes I read and I don't require everybody to be there. Or what sometimes works best is like when the other two, when the 2 who are doing online schooling are off doing that, then just reading with the 2 who are here. I don't know. It just feels like smaller is better for us read aloud wise. And so, we're just kind of, I don't feel like we have a tight schedule on that, but that's the schedule. The schedule is no tight schedule.
Yeah, good.
If that makes sense. We are still using some spelling apps like endless spell. I can't remember. They're endless alphabet.
Okay. Oh yeah, endless alphabet. I think that's right.
Let me think. I'm trying to think here. Okay, for science, I've decided we're doing the Mark Rober videos. Yep. Twice a week. Probably. Okay. Although we just saw one of his videos today. We just watched one, and he said, I decided to just do once a week because it takes a lot of work. So I was like, yeah, it does. You're right, Mark. But his videos are so great. And I would just say, and then the other thing I was going to mention is Mystery Doug. It's a great science video too. It's on YouTube. But also if you go to his website, Mystery Doug, you get like the latest video. All his older videos, like beyond, like a day or two old. They're all on YouTube.
Okay.
So the only reason you'd want the newest video is you get to vote on what he's going to do next. So that's motivating. So I was going to say too, also, Mark Rober is probably for, my older kids, the 11-year-olds and 13-year-old. They really like Mark Rober. Okay. And Mystery Doug would probably be for maybe 9. My 9-year-old likes it, and younger. For sure. But we all watch both of them. So the whole family could watch those. Let me see. I've decided we're going to do some music study, and I just started somewhere this week. I just thought was like, I need to start. I'm not prepared. I don't know what I want to do with music, but I just want to start. So I decided we're going to learn about a musician this week. And I just put it up on the board. It was Ella Fitzgerald. Putting Ella Fitzgerald, I put her name up on the board, the First Lady of Song, which was her nickname, and the dates that she lived and died. And that was our copy work this week. We did copy work. They wrote that down. And then we listened to her music. And we talked about it. And that's what we've done so far.
Way to go.
Thank you.
Way to just start.
I just started. That's
excited. Awesome.
I put it on my schedule. And then it happened. So if I hadn't written it down, it wouldn't have happened.
Okay, question. Yeah. Are you including all of your children, or is when you say the schedule, is this for just your 2 who aren't doing the... Okay, so
these are definitely for my 2 who are not doing online schooling.
Yep.
And it is partly for the other 2 when they're around. So.
And then you're just like, all right, everybody, come on. We're doing copy work for Ella Fitzgerald right now.
Yeah. Well, what I've decided is I didn't say this time in the past I've been writing 10 to 12. We're doing this work, right? And I didn't do that this week. I just wrote down a list of the things I want to do today. Yes. And so it just, whenever it worked out, I was like, okay, now we're going to do this. It was kind of like when kids were like, can we watch something? And I'm like, oh, let's do this first. We're going to do this and then we'll watch something, whatever's next on the list. And whenever I just felt like it was, we had the energy to do it. Yeah. Sometimes this week we did everything right away. Whenever it was time to start, we just plowed through, and other days it took till the end of the day, and other days I just crossed stuff off the list.
Okay. So I have to just say I'm noticing more that we just work so differently because I actually would prefer to be a little bit more like you, where I am kind of gathering everybody to do cool, fun, new things. But my kids, especially as they've gotten older, have really shown me that they need they need to be managing their own time.
Well, that's great. I mean, I think that's really great.
That's good. That's a great skill too. Yeah. And they need to, both of my kids want to know their expectations before the day starts. And then they want to check that stuff off as they're getting done with it. Yeah. And so if I were to be like, hey, everybody, come on over, we're going to watch a Mark Rober video, they'd be like, what? I'm busy. I'm doing
was it on your list of expectations, though? Because this is on my list of expectations. We're watching the Mark Rober video, so... I mean,
they wouldn't be ready at the same time. Like, anytime I've tried to do this, I mean, I guess I could... I could make them, but I feel like... me having us do deer time and outside time together, those are the 2 things we do together, is like almost too much. Like I'm pushing it a little bit with those 2 things.
Yeah, I get it. And I think if we had all 4 kids doing all these things, that it wouldn't have worked like that either. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Having 2 who kind of they're really such they just do what they're interest-led learners. They really are, both of them.
Yes.
They really are. And so the other 2 the 2 who are doing online learning might actually prefer just a list of things to do and just tell me what to do, and I'll do them, and then let's be done. These 2, that I'm doing most of this work for, they are very much like will keep themselves busy a lot with lots of other things. So I don't know. I just feel like they're learning so much in other ways. Anyway, so
this is great.
Yeah, and so sometimes, you know, I don't know. It just works differently for every kid and for every parent and for every family altogether. Like, it has to be this aspect of what I need, and then what all four of my kids need, and we have to like somehow get this to work all together as a family in one house for how many weeks? It's
a challenge. It's a puzzle.
It's a puzzle, and it's different for every single person. I was just going to add also, okay, then I also wanted to do art this week, some kind of art. And my idea was to do the same thing with art, where we study an artist. Oh, yeah. And just like look at a painting or something, look at a sculpture, write down who it was, and maybe read a little something. That's what I was thinking. Well, that didn't work. That did not happen this week. I think the music study was plenty for this week. So I nixed that, and we really, what my two kids really, really wanted to do was decorate Easter stuff. Easter, they needed to, they really thought it was super important for us to decorate our house for Easter. So I made a bunch of eggs on a piece of paper. Like, I drew egg shapes. I made, and they designed them with Sharpie, watercolored them, and then we let them dry and laminated them with my new laminator. Which is my quarantine purchase. And and decorated the house. That's awesome. That filled their cup. Art-wise.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I mean, just amazing. So the other things, for writing, I pulled out our journals again. We actually have different journals for like everybody based on their own interests. So they're all writing in those all week. You know, my 9-year-old and I are still writing to each other in this notebook. I think we've filled up like 3 or 4 notebooks already, and they just keep going. I know. I've really struck a chord with this, and I feel like it was such a big win that we found this notebook that is my 9-year-old. Yeah, my 9-year-old loves to write letters to me about how she's feeling. It's helping her emotional state too. Whenever she's super angry, she writes it down and tells me how angry she is. And when she's excited, she tells me how excited she is. And she gets both of those emotions a lot. So there's just like there's a lot of writing happening. And I think it's great.
If that is all she does all year.
Yeah, right?
That is amazing.
It's a huge win. Huge win. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think on Instagram we posted about how she's writing her favorite TikTok songs. So that's happening. I was thinking, for PE we decided I found a kids PE class online, and I can't remember. It's a teacher. It's a PE teacher from England. I don't know if he's from England or he just has an English accent. Actually, I don't know where he's from. I don't know. Yeah. But he does online PE now from his living room.
That's awesome.
And he's great.
You know, we're going to have to get the link. So we'll put that in the show notes.
I'm going to give you that link. And then also we're watching the YouTube videos from our old martial arts class back home, which you guys are doing.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. Just the ones that are on YouTube. We're watching them. Yeah. He put some on YouTube, which is so awesome. It feels like home. It really does when we watch those. So we're loving those. And it's just such a great class.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Anybody could watch those and do those too. And then we often as a family sit down to watch CNN 10. And usually it's like right before or after dinner. And it's just, that is also just kind of a natural thing especially because Sean is also super interested in watching the news, and I've been trying to shelter, like, I don't want like the news to be blaring in the living room, like the adult news. So I feel like it's kind of a compromise. CNN 10. We all get to watch it and talk about it, because that's like a real big, that's like his love language, is to talk about that kind of stuff. You know, what's going on in the world, and what we think of it, and just having like these big discussions about all of it. Yep. It's really, really his thing. He loves that so much. So, that is, I don't know. It's a great opportunity. We are also going for walks every night still as a family. So we are trying to get out during the day still to do exercise. And then we try to get out for a walk at night. And I feel like it's just such a good balance for us both times. We need to get out during the day. We need to get out at night. And it helps everyone sleep. And it just feels right for us to do that.
Good.
So, yeah. So I was going to say, like, I think I kind of mentioned this, but I went from, I think the first week or two, I had times. We're doing this at this time, this at this time. You know, it was just all day rigid. And I thought that would help us feel like this sense of safety and security. And it maybe did for a while. I think it maybe did that. Then, like, maybe the second or third week, I was like, I'm so burnt out. I can't even write anything on my schedule. I can't do anything today. I don't even know what we're doing. We'll just figure it out. And now I feel like we're kind of in, you know, like I was talking about this transition into this marathon. I feel like we're doing that schedule wise where it's more like we don't have necessarily a set time because my kids really pushed against that. I think it was real tough for them to be like, we have to do this all from 10 to 12. That's like really, that was hard for them. Especially the two that are homeschooling full time. So I've just decided I'm going to make a list of my expectations for the day, and they can get done when it feels right to get done. And I am obviously going to be very cognizant of this list and, you know, like try my best to get things done. But also my main goal is to have like happy, healthy, relationships with my kids. And I'm not asking for perfection, but just like to have like the right balance. So if I have overstacked the day, I'm going to take things out. It's not a good idea for me to be pushing things at this time for sure. So, if I haven't planned enough, I'm going to be adding things in the day. And that's just the way it is right now. It's not going to be a perfect plan. And it's not going to be a perfect execution, but that's the way it is. So.
Yes, always.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing all that.
I know that was a lot.
I loved hearing it.
Thanks.
Let's move on to loving this week.
All right. LTWs, Angela, what are you loving this week?
All right. Well, speaking of news, I found my new favorite news channel. It's called Some Good News with John Krasinski.
Nice. Yes.
I know most of you have heard of this, at least. But this kind of news is just my style, especially in this time.
Yes.
So this is probably 15-minute episodes of all good news. And I told you that we are doing this bedtime books and TV at night. This is what we've watched a couple times. There's only 2 episodes out so far.
Does he do them every day or?
No, it's like one. I think it must be once a week because there's only 2 episodes out. Okay. It might. I don't actually know what his schedule is going to be.
Okay.
But my kids are into it because they know who John Krasinski is from The Office, and you know they're into that.
Yeah.
So they really want to watch it.
Good.
And so I feel like it is a way to kind of keep up with what's going on, but you know, it being all good news. And I wish we had a channel like this, you know,
mainstream.
Yeah. Yes. Because I would watch that. I would totally watch that.
Yes.
It's uplifting. It's touching. It's all the things. So I am loving it. If you haven't checked it out yet, I'd highly recommend it.
I was just telling you, I haven't actually checked it out. But because I've heard it now from so many people, and now that you've said it, I'm like, yeah, I think this could be part of our schedule now, too. Totally.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks.
All right, Maren, what are you loving this week?
Okay, I am loving a show on Hulu, and it's called High Fidelity. I think I may have talked about it maybe in Patreon. Did I talk about it?
I don't know. You know,
Anyway.
I've heard you talk about it, and it's somewhere that we recorded.
Yeah. Okay. It's
So-
somewhere. It's somewhere out there.
Probably on Patreon.
Okay. So I'm loving it because number one, it's a little nostalgic. The movie was made about 20 years ago, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe more.
Yeah.
No, it had to be more. It was in the 90s. Anyway, a long time ago. With John Cusack, which I really liked. I barely remember it, but this is such a fun new take on high fidelity. And my new favorite actor is Zoe Kravitz, and she really makes this role. So she is a record store owner in Brooklyn, and the first episode is she talks about her top 5 breakups, which is kind of in line with the movie, right? And then it goes on, the episodes go on to show her having like a love interest, but then she's really hung up on an ex-boyfriend or fiance, and so just like she's just trying to kind of push this love interest aside and try and see what's happening. Anyway, so it's so great. I love it because it really shows Brooklyn life, which I love. And Zoe Kravitz is just, I love her because she's kind of understated. Her acting is very, I would say, understated, but it is so powerful. And kind of like, I think we talked maybe about some musician too, or actor. I can't even remember. When you act or when you play music in such a controlled way, it's so hard. It's like harder than overacting or overplaying your music, you know? Like you have to have so much control, and she is so great at it. She makes it look so easy. I believe she is this person. And that's when I just feel like this is her role. It's just she was made for this role. It was so great.
Yeah.
So great.
And how many seasons and episodes are there?
There's only one season, and it is, I want to say, 8 episodes, and they're about probably, I think they're probably 45 minutes each.
Yeah,
so
perfect.
Doable.
And what streaming?
It's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And okay, so like just like so many, I feel like so many shows right now, the first 2 episodes I was like, I like it, but I had to kind of make myself go back. But I think it was maybe the 3rd episode that I was like, I can't not watch this anymore. It's so good.
That's awesome. I am gonna watch that next. Definitely.
You should.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for listening. If you want to find us on social media, we are at Homeschool Unrefined on Facebook and Instagram. We have a website, homeschoolunrefined.com, where you can find links to everything that we talked about. And we'll be back next week talking about the same thing.
Thanks for listening.
Homeschool Unrefined is created and produced by Maren and Angela Sizer. Ethan Miller is our editor, and Amanda Ginn is our VP of all the important things.